a look at the challenger, Dennis Milton, who has made his way into the ring for the biggest fight of his professional life, his first world title shot. His list of opponents, with just a few exceptions, will not bowl you over. Only 2 fights in 2 years. And Ferdy, will the quality of opposition and inactivity hurt him?
I certainly will. I mean, I certainly would hate to come in and face Julian Jackson with a bunch of ring rust. He's been inactive for 18 months, which gives you, and still rated #1, which gives you some idea of what a haphazard procedure rating fighters is these days.
Well, he told us he may be inactive fighting, but he's been sparring with world-class fighters, but you wonder if that is the same thing. And to the champion, Julian Jackson. It's been 10 months since he last fought, winning the vacant WBC middleweight crown from Londoner Harold Grant. He's overcome 1989 surgery for a detached retina and a torn retina. And Ferdy, despite getting a clean bill of health, do the eyes pose a problem?
I think they do. I'm one of the people that have had 30 years experience looking at people with detached retinas. I really would not like to see a fighter risk his eyesight, even though laser surgery now apparently has solved the problem. But that is really a test of time. You got to see 5 years down the line what happens with Sugar Ray Leonard's eyes, what happens with Julian Jackson's. I certainly hope that that procedure is now the cure-all for detached retina. But I, for one, would not risk my eyesight in order for the sport of boxing.
Jackson's had the long layup. He is a KO specialist. He told us he will not be cautious because of the eyes. And Ferdy, he plans to go right at Milton from the first bell.
That's the only way he fights. That's the only way he can do it. He's got to forget his eyes and keep on going. There's nothing actually he can do to protect the eyes. That's just part of the sport. You're going to get hit on the face.
Let's go to the tail of the tape and see how these two stack up. Julian Jackson turned 31 this past Thursday. Dennis Milton is 30. Jackson a half-inch taller at 5'10.5". Both came in just under 160, and the reach almost even, so overall very close, at least numerically. The rules, according to the WBC, a 10-point must system. 3 judges will score the fight. No standing 8 count. No 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and a fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the last round. We are at the Mirage Arena in Las Vegas, getting set for the WBC Middleweight Championship. Let's go to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to the beautiful Mirage Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada, as Don King Productions and the Mirage, in association with Budweiser, the king of beers, present the first of our 2 feature bouts of the evening, the WBC Middleweight Championship of the World. This event is sanctioned by the World Boxing Council President Jose Sulaiman and the supervisor Hague Collegiate, along with the Nevada Athletic Commission. Presenting the officials as appointed, judges at ringside, Art Lurie of Las Vegas, also from Las Vegas, Dalby Shirley, and from Sacramento, California, Terry Smith. Now introducing the referee in charge of this bout, Mills Lane. Well, fans, here we go. This feature event is for the WBC Middleweight Championship of the World, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first on my right, the challenger fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing black and white trunks and fighting out of the Bronx in New York. He weighed in at 159 pounds with a record of 16 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. He has 5 wins by way of knockout. He is the #1 middleweight contender by the WBC, and they call him the Magician, Dennis Milton. And his opponent across the ring. On my left, fighting out of the red corner, he enters the ring wearing gold trunks with red trim. He's hailing from St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands, and he weighed in at a ready 158 pounds. His outstanding record includes 41 victories, only 1 defeat, and 39 big wins by way of knockout. He's the former WBA Junior Middleweight Champion, currently the reigning WBC Middleweight Champion of the World, Julian the Hawk Jackson. Once again, here's your referee in charge, Mills Lane, now to give instructions.
All right, come on. All right, we've already been through the instructions one time. This was the championship of the world. Expect a tough, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions from the challenger? No questions. Any questions from the champion? Let's get it on. Come on.
Yes, the always pointed Mills Lane, who's a district judge out of Reno, as we're getting set for Julian Jackson, his first title defense of the WBC middleweight crown, as he takes on the #1 challenger, Dennis Milton, scheduled for 12. Here we go, round one. Julian Jackson, the Hawk, the champion, in the gold with the red trim. Dennis Milton, the magician, the challenger, #1 contender, in the black and white trunks. And Jackson, as he told us, going right at Milton.
And Milton looks like he's got the game plan of holding on, and I hope he doesn't think he can do that for 12 rounds. He's got to do a little bit of fighting besides just grabbing him.
I asked Milton what he has to do to upset Jackson. He said, my boxing ability and boxing savvy will take care of that. He said Jackson's going out. Jackson told us he doesn't think Milton can withstand the pressure of his punches.
Right now he's fighting with a little bit of apprehension is the magician.
The magician is Dennis Milton, who is 16-2-1 with 5 knockouts, only 19 pro fights at age 30. Why so few fights? Why he's so inactive since turning pro in '85? He told us he may be inactive fighting, but he has been sparring with world-class opponents, as we mentioned. But, Ferdy, I really wonder about that.
That's absolutely, it's nonsense. I mean, you have to have tune-up fights. You have to get in there in competition. In the gym won't do it, and especially not if you're going to face a Julian Jackson, who is very good right hand by Jackson.
Jackson looking to air it out here in the very first round.
Milton foolishly holding on to the rope instead of covering up. He is very apprehensive and tight. All that ring rust is showing. He certainly doesn't look like he belongs in the ring with Julian Jackson.
Midway through the first, Milton, who last fought just to set the record straight June 28th, a second-round TKO over Pat Brennan in Vegas, said he feels Jackson doesn't have the skills and that this fight won't go to the judges. Well, right now, Jackson's looking to end it in the opening round.
Does not look like he is going to get up. He looks like he's part of the fixture. He's part of the canvas. The magician is down for the count.
And it is all over in round #1. Julian Jackson retains his WBC Middleweight Championship, knocking out Dennis Milton.
So much for the theory that you can go to the gym and work 18 and hope to face a guy like Julian Jackson.
This is Jackson's 10th first-round knockout, and he is now 42-1 with 40 KOs, 6-0 in championship bouts. His average rounds per championship bout, 4. This one in the first.
Well, fights like that, he really doesn't have to worry about his eyesight because he didn't get hit once.
And Dennis Milton is still being attended to flat on his back.
Well, the precaution that they take here, and they do in New Jersey and in Florida, many states, is to leave him down, even though his eyes are open and he responds until he's fully clear-headed. Then they sit him up, and then from there they progress to standing. His eyes are open. He seems to be reacting, so it doesn't look like any difficulty there. It's just a resounding knockout. When Julian Jackson knocks you out, he knocks you out. I mean, they could count to 100.
And we feel for Dennis Milton right now. Mills Lane is hovering over him to make sure at least he's comfortable.
Well,
and he's in bad shape, getting up very slowly. The doctor's there, of course.
They should not be in a hurry. I mean, there's no point in being in a hurry to make a guy get up. I mean, let him get up when he's nice and relaxed, when you know that he has his senses about him, so he doesn't topple over again or so nothing else happens. Julian, on the other hand, doesn't look like he's even started to sweat right.
Milton is on his feet, so thank goodness for that. Now they'll sit him down.
Well, when a fighter fights as apprehensively as he has, anything that touches him seems to respond even more. Now let's take a look at that first shot. Boom, that right hand, and you could see the reaction was to fold. I mean, there was just absolutely, and then to grab hold. There was no concept of counter punching here or to protect himself. Now let's take a look from a different view. You see how solid it landed, and how this guy's just so tight. He's just not loose and limber. Because he doesn't go with a punch. It's just like hitting a bag. Look at it, boom. It's just that's unfortunate. He was too tight. He didn't get a chance to catch himself and start in his own rhythm. It's kind of